Hey guys, so today I am going to do a color and chat, my very first one, just to kind of catch up, and I'll be working in the Stained Glass Color by Numbers coloring book by David Woodruff. And I just kind of picked a page that was kind of simple because honestly guys, I don't know how well I'll be able to talk and color at the same time. But we're gonna do the best that we can. Just kind of double checking to make sure you guys can see what I'm working on. Might zoom you in a little. There. As long as I don't move the page, you guys will be able to see it. So the way I usually work in Color by Numbers is I just go from number 1 and I find all the number 1s. And if there aren't any, you know, I just move on to the next number in numerical order. So basically, there's been a lot going on the last few days. I'm going to start with number 4 which is red. I'm using Tombow dual brush pens. There's been a lot going on the last few days, the last few weeks. I've been able to keep things somewhat normal. Just because my husband's home for the summer, and that gives me some extra time to do filming and other such things. Doggone it, I colored the wrong color. Oh well, we'll fix it. Like I said, I don't know how well this whole color and chat thing is gonna go for me. I'll probably lose my train of thought like 15 times, so if you're okay with that, like, you know. That's how things might be. And I'm not trying to be like perfect in my coloring. I'm just kind of doing this for stress relief. So it's been a stressful couple of weeks, but what I was saying before was I've been able to keep things pretty normal despite our family challenges because my husband is home for the summer. But what happened was that basically the first week of June, my husband lost 2 of his grandparents. One on his mom's side, one on his dad's side within like 24 hours of each other. And it was in the middle of the week, so we were, you know, trying to figure out how we were going to make it to both funerals and just praying they didn't have it on the same day or the same time because they wanted him to be a pallbearer for each funeral. And so what happened was basically Saturday and Sunday we did nothing but, you know, go to funerals, go to visitations, visit with family, which, you know, it was all good things that we needed to do, and I'm glad. But we have 3 kids, 4 and under, and, you know, I was only able to stay for short periods of time at each visitation. And then, you know, take the kids home and let them get back on their routines. But it was a little wild and a little crazy. And of course, you know, we're still kind of in shock and kind of just trying to process everything. So yeah, it's been a wee bit crazy. I'm looking through my blues here to make sure I have all 3 blues. I do. So this pale blue here. But yeah, it's been a little wild lately. And then I had my birthday, which I'm filming this the day after my birthday, but when you're watching this, it would have been on Tuesday. And so we had a week kind of between when all of that went down and my birthday to kind of process. You know, we started working on some scrapbook memorial pages for both grandparents. And so it's been okay, and I'm glad my husband was off work when all this happened because it's given him some time to process and grieve. I know it'll probably it'll probably hit him a lot harder in the coming months. I feel like it rarely hits people, you know, right after it happens. Like, you know, we've yet to go through a first Christmas without these loved ones, and a first Thanksgiving, and I know that those are going to be very hard. But we're getting through it okay right now, and, you know, in the future I may have to postpone or not post videos, you know, as we go through the grieving process. It just affects everyone differently and can be very unpredictable. But so far we're doing okay. On the lighter side of things, are any of you all going through a heat wave right now? Because, oh my gracious, it has been awful. It's been like a heat index of 110, and it's so muggy. Like, I went outside the other night to look at the stars after it had gotten dark, and our pavement was still like blazing hot, and it was so hazy and so muggy from all the heat that it was obstructing visibility. Like, I couldn't see buildings like a half mile away through the mugginess. It was really crazy. But yeah, we are, I think a lot of the country's going through the heat wave right now. We're planning on trying to take our kids out to the pool at some point. We have like a little local water park in our town. It's just a little thing, but it has like a little kids play area for smaller kids, and that's where they like to hang out. So we might try to find a nice day that's not too hot but still pretty warm to go out to that little water park and let the kids enjoy being in the water. And this color and chat might be a little bit short because I'm coming up to the end of my kids' nap time. I'm kind of behind. I'm not behind, but I have some catching up to do as far as my ghostwriting stuff, and so that's been taking the majority of my time, because you can imagine the week that the deaths happened, you know, it just kind of, my creative energy tanked, and I was trying to support my husband, and I did not meet the quota of words that I normally meet in a week. I didn't fall too far short, because when it happened, you know, it was like halfway through the week and I'd already gotten a lot of work done. But I still have some words that I may need to make up before the end of this particular book in the series. So, what was I gonna say? My youngest son's second birthday is coming up in July. I needed to start planning for that. We're having a birthday party for me because I turned 30. Woohoo! I'm finally not a 20-something, I'm a 30-year-old. We're having a birthday party this weekend, and I invited a lot of friends and family, and miraculously I think a lot of my family's going to get to come. They haven't come to much because my mom and my aunt and all of them have been caretaking for their elderly parents, my grandparents, and have had little to no time to themselves. And, you know, it's just one of those things that you gotta do what you gotta do. But I haven't seen their faces in like over a year because of that, so, and they live an hour away from me. So it's just been kind of hard to get together with them, so I'm really excited to get to see them. What else? I think I have a release date for my next book in my Mermaid Fantasy series. I think it'll come out in October. I was a little ambitious when I decided to try to release them like 4 months apart while also doing ghostwriting, but I am hopeful that, 2 books a year, since I published the first one in April, October would be, about 6 months later. I'm hopeful that won't be too ambitious, although this go round, I did already have the second book written when I published the first, but I'm still revising it, and that's what's been taking so long. Revising books is one of those things that just takes so much energy, and energy has been in short supply. And it's not my favorite part of the writing process, so I keep finding it, it moves to the bottom of my to-do list like every time. So but I am excited. October will still be good. I think 2 books a year is still a good pace. I have to get going on drafting book 3, which I already have it outlined, and I'm really excited about it. So I'm hoping that that excitement will help carry that drafting process quite quickly. And after doing ghostwriting for like 4 months straight and producing 10K words like a week or more consistently, I am hopeful that that kind of training of my writing muscle will help me like blast through my drafts in the future. And I know that they won't come out perfect and they'll still need revision, but this gig has been giving me a lot of practice of just getting drafts out very quickly and readable drafts. I've been doing writing since I was 14, so I've been doing it for 16 years now. And I've, even as a 14-year-old, I was studying the craft and practicing and reading, just everything I could get my hands on, and all of that has paid off because now that I'm an adult and it's actually my career, I'm able to produce pretty consistently good drafts. They're not perfect, and there's still some things that I look back after I've submitted it and I'm like, oh, maybe I should change that, but just resisting that urge to edit and just letting the draft be before I go in to revise it is good practice, I think. It's helping me get faster and more efficient and producing, more solid, readable drafts that, even if they're not perfect, they still work, they still make sense. So I'm like a big story structure, character arc buff, as far as that's what I studied, because I would have all these great story ideas, but I didn't know how to make them resonate. I didn't know how to make a character develop properly to where, the reader actually likes the character and wants them to get better and is rooting for them. And I've had so much practice with that now over the years. And, I also did go to college for it, that, stories just kind of come out of me and they work because of that, absorbed knowledge. You probably heard my daughter. I've got my door closed and my husband is out there with them, but she's 3 and she does not know the meaning of quiet. So there you go. I really like this light blue. And this Tombow pen, it's 553. I had to stand up to make sure you all could see that. It's a really pretty blue. And yes, I do have the full set of Tombows because I'm an absolute maniac and I suffer from a condition called full set syndrome. And I think many of you colorists out there probably suffer from the same syndrome. It's they always tell you, buy a smaller set of the tool first to make sure you like it. And I'm just no, I think I'm going to buy the full set anyway. And to be honest with you, I have met very few art supplies that I did not like, even after taking the chance and buying the full set, especially if I buy, I don't buy things generally without reading the reviews and looking for recommendations. So, I mean, like, it's very rare that I actually buy something and I hate it. Like, the one thing I can think of, and I knew that I was taking a risk on it because I'd seen the reviews, were the Crayola blend-in shades. I do not like them. But I also didn't spend that much money on them, even for the full set of 50. So I actually gave them to a friend of mine, and she is using them for homeschooling because it was tearing up my sharpener, and I like the way they lay down. Like, I used them on a color by number page when I first bought them, and they color nicely. I just hate the way they sharpen. It's probably a sensory thing for me, but I cannot stand the way they felt in the sharpener. And if I know about those things, like, and I know that the product is like that, then I won't use it. So I just gave it away. But she's been texting me pictures of like what they've been coloring with it, and it's been making me so happy. So at least know that my money wasn't wasted. It's making someone happy, and it went to a good home. So that makes me happy. What else has been going on in my life? I went through and decluttered a bunch of the kids' toys because they're kind of young to be cleaning their room, but they actually do it, like, just because we've done such a routine with them, like, okay, now it's time to clean your room, and they get a treat when they clean their room. So generally speaking, they do pretty well. Yeah, it was, my boys especially were getting to the point where they just had so many toys and it was overwhelming them to go in there and look at all the mess that they had to clean up. So we just kind of went through and bagged up a bunch of toys, and it was still kind of messy after we did that, but I also put away some toys, like just stored them away, and then we can, like, rotate them out if they get bored with the toys they've got. So, and they still have plenty of toys, don't worry. And they will get more for birthdays and Christmas, and we'll have to declutter again, because we have a small house right now. Can't afford anything else, especially in this market. But, just keeping their space decluttered means that they clean it easier, it's not as overwhelming, and they actually play with the things that they've got. And they're not, like, overloaded with too many choices. Me, on the other hand, and, if you've seen my studio tour, and I can link it in a card, I have so many different kinds of pens and pencils, but I feel like with art, it's fun to have all the things to play with. Thought for a second my marker was drying out. My hand is not very steady today, and it's probably because I spent all morning typing. I took the beginning of this week on Monday, and I took the entire work time that I had, and I did my HB90 method planning. And if you don't know about that method of planning, if you go to the Heart Breathings channel here on YouTube, it's a very kind woman named Sarah Cannon. She's also I think she's a young adult fantasy author, and it's like a productivity, the HB90 method is like a productivity thing, and she incorporates like a Kanban board, which I've shown you all my Kanban board, and really like intentional goal setting based on where you want your life to go. And it's not just for authors, it's for anyone who wants to kind of just get a better handle on what they want in life and how to get there. And I have an affiliate link for that course, so if you're interested in checking it out. Her course is currently ongoing right now, but it goes, I think she does it 4 times a year each quarter. So you'll get another chance to go through it live in September, I think. It's every March, June, September, December, and then you're planning for like the upcoming quarter. So like this week we planned for quarter 3, which is July through September. My goals didn't change much from last quarter. Just continuing on making content for this channel, getting my book ready for publication, and doing my ghostwriting. So it's a lot of work, but it was simple to set my goals. I'm doing a terrible job on these rectangles, but I do not like using, I don't like using the bullet end. I only want to use the brush tip. It just doesn't feel nice to use the bullet end. So yeah, I just went through that on Monday, and there was a lot to it, but I have all my sticky notes ready to go up on my Kanban board. I'm very excited. It's kind of like having a new year. 4 times a year. So that's always fun. What else? You can see I have not repainted my nails. I feel like I did order some nail wraps from like Lily and Fox, I think it was, to see if they stick any better than the nail polish that I was trying to use, because like I painted my nails that peachy color, and I think you may have seen it in the last plan with me that I put up for June like 13th or 19th. Well, it already all peeled off within like 3 days. And the OPI nail polish that I had before, it only stays on like a little bit longer than that before, but even like within a couple days it also starts to chip. I don't know if it's just because I have young kids and, you know, I can't baby my hands. I don't know if that's why it's coming off or if I'm putting it on wrong. Could be a combination of all of the above. But I just left my nails naked this time around because I was tired of filing my nails and buffing them down and trying to take all the nail polish off out of the creases. It was just too much. Just to get pretty nails for like maybe an hour after I do them, because they already start to chip that fast sometimes. But I ordered some nail wraps and I'll try those, especially because I ordered some really pretty like star themed and galaxy themed ones. And I also ordered a set for the 4th of July, which I do plan to wear for that video. We'll see. Let you guys know how long those last before they start chipping off. What else? Oh yeah, my husband and I were talking about, we've been, if you know Dave Ramsey, you know, he has like his baby steps, and we've been on baby step 2 for like years because we've been doing it ish. And, you know, we've had 3 babies in quick succession, so, you know, that was kind of a contributing factor. But, you know, we really want to get going and start paying off our debt. So we've been talking about what we need to do. And, of course, I feel like right now is just kind of a hard time to reach any financial goals because of inflation and everything. So I feel like a lot of people that were doing good are now scraping by, and actually, you know, like we could live off of just my husband's income still, but that's all we could do. Like we could do nothing fun, like no date nights, no allowances, no nothing fun. Just strictly eating, keeping a roof over our heads, paying our bills. So, you know, we decided that since I'm making the extra money, we need to try to start paying off our debts and getting to a more stable place with our net worth. And just, you know, because we don't want to just keep paying all of our tax refunds to debt, and it just seems kind of silly. So we just want to get rid of it. And most of our debt, the vast majority of it is my husband's student loans for his teaching degree. I think we've both paid off our undergraduate student loans, but these things have been hanging on over our heads since we've been married. We've been married 6 years. So, I know, like, the last big haul video, I was like, this is the last one, and I think we just both were feeling that we needed to do something more productive with our money. So, you may still see smaller hauls from me, like I might buy a coloring book or a set of pencils here and there, as, you know, my smaller allowance will allow me to, but I think we both just decided that I'm gonna start, you know, using the extra money that I'm making right now to help out our financial situation and get us out of the student loan debt, because it's not gonna go away unless we pay it. So that's kind of where we're at, and he's taken over the family budget. I used to do it because I'm a nerd and I like to crunch the numbers and play around with things, but I'm also now running a business and I have to keep up with that accounting too, so he took over the family budget. So I'd be more freed up to get my work done and, you know, do my own accounting for my stuff. 12. Can't remember. That's a good dark blue. And sometimes when I first get a color by number book, I like swatch. I'll just swatch my tools. If it has this little fold out, which I love, just swatch my tools right next to the color swatch to make sure that they match. I thought I saw some 12s. Here they are. Right here. Tiny little spaces. Right now I like the way that the red and the blue look together, but I know there's way more colors than that by the end of this. Yeah. See how long we've been running. Okay. Might let it go a few more minutes and then I'm gonna have to hop off and get some other things done. I saw a video the other day by, I think her name is Corey at Colorfully Optimistic. She was talking about these new Arteza glitter brush pens. Like, I think they're supposed to be like comparable to those Spectrum Noir or even like Wink of Stella. And I really wanted them, and then I looked at how much they cost and I was like, in the wish list it goes. I know they still come out way cheaper, but I don't even know if I want like a lot of colors of the glitter, because let me see. I don't even know where mine are. But I have like a gold, a silver, and a clear, and I feel like that's all I would ever really use them for. You know, it's like accents. Or just adding some sparkle to things. I don't know that I'd want to like... Yeah, I don't know if I need all those colors. And I also have these bad boys. These Ohuhu glitter markers. I have a 12 set of those, and they actually do come in a lot of different colors. Excuse me. So, yeah, I don't know. But they're on my wish list. Do any of you guys want those? I saw them and I was like, oh my gosh, glitter. I was totally drawn in by all the glitter, but then I got to thinking, I was like, you know, I already have a lot of glittery tools. Maybe I don't need them. But they looked really neat when she was demoing them on her video. And I'll probably link that video down below so you can see what I'm talking about. But yeah. What color do I want to use next? don't see any like 1s, 2s, or 3s, which are the pinks. Might do some of the greens. I have I think these are my 3 greens here. And then this one is a dark green. Yeah, I think that's how I had them set up. I already had my tombos pulled out for color by numbers, so 6. Are there any 6s? Not seeing any 6s, but I see a lot of 7s, which is this apple green. So I'll start coloring with this. Trying to think what else. Oh, on Memorial Day, I got to go over to my friend's house, and there was like a meteor shower that night, and they weren't sure if it was going to be like really great or really terrible, but we saw quite a few meteors, and she lives out in kind of a dark rural area, so we were actually able to see the Milky Way as well, which is always exciting. Like, I love getting to see the Milky Way. We can't see it from where we live. We live right behind a Kroger, and there are stadium, like football stadium lights over in their parking lot, and you cannot see like anything, and that's exactly the direction that the Milky Way is in, which is so frustrating. But over at her house, it has a very clear view to the south, which is where the Milky Way rises and sets. And by around 11 or 12 o'clock, it was up far enough out of the nearby town lights that you could see, like, it went all the way across the sky. It was so pretty. And I might throw in a little photo, one of the photos I took while I was over there, of the Milky Way, so you all can see. The iPhone, I just have an iPhone 13 mini, just the mini, not a Pro or anything with the extra cameras, but even that little phone took great pictures, I thought. Of course, I'm a total, like, astrophotography noob, so, but I was happy with the pictures, and that's really all that matters to me. As long as I'm having fun and I like the end result. I don't have to have all the fancy equipment. And sometimes I wish I would think that way about coloring, but there's something to be said about, you know, even though I'm just coloring, I like to enjoy the tools that I'm using, and I like to feel pampered by the experience, if that makes any sense. And that's why I get artist quality stuff, even though I'm just a colorist and I don't do all of the fancy techniques always. Like, I use some basic techniques when I'm coloring sometimes, but like right now I'm just flat coloring. But I love these Tombow markers. I love the way the brush nibs feel, and I like how vibrant the colors are. And even though I'm not using really fancy techniques, it is still such a soothing experience. And like, when you're a sensory person like I am, it's like everything has to feel right. Everything has to, like, if it doesn't lay down on the paper smoothly, then I just want to throw it out the window. So I think there's something to be said. No, I wouldn't recommend anyone go and spend tons of money on it like I do. Like, I'm an extreme person. Like, when I say that I'm an absolute maniac and I have full set syndrome, like, I truly think, and I've, you know, been to therapy about it, like, I get obsessive over things, and to the point where it's unreasonably obsessive. So, like, it's all fun and games until, you know, you're spending way more money than you should, and it's not good. But the nice thing is that I do have my own job, but I don't want to spend all of my earnings on just art supplies. Like, I think I have enough to last me through the apocalypse at this point. So, yeah. Moral of the story, don't be like me. Don't don't overbuy art supplies. And I fall prey definitely to peer pressure, and not really even like peer pressure, but just seeing other people buy things. I fall pressure to that. So even though like I have made haul videos on my channel, I can't watch other people's haul videos because I will walk away from that video having spent, you know, more money than anyone should. So, thank you for coming to my TED Talk about overbuying art supplies. Don't be a hoarder. Use your art supplies. Don't be precious with them. Don't beat yourself up if you're using artist quality art supplies just to color. It's all okay. And, you know, if coloring with Tombow markers or luminance pencils is what brings you joy in this hobby, you know, as long as you can afford it and you're not going crazy like me, because I'm an absolute maniac, go for it. Like, don't let anybody tell you you can't use those things to just color. I don't see any more 7s on here. Let's move on. See a few 8s. Let's do some 8s. There's a little bit of a bluer undertone than the other one, I think. This green. That's still pretty. I feel like my nibs are starting to fray. This is pretty smooth paper, so I don't know. My youngest son, who's almost 2, has started saying more words lately, and it's so cute. Like, he was having a full-blown conversation at one point on my husband's piano. Like, just, I couldn't tell you what he was saying, but he was really invested in his conversation. It was the cutest thing. Like, I could pick out a word or two here and there of like dinner and I don't know. And he says the word piano in a very simplified, babyish way, but he's so cute. Like, I know he's my own kid and I have a little bit of bias, but it was literally so cute. I feel like I've said everything that has been going on lately. I wish this heat would go away though. I'm sure y'all probably feel the same unless you like walking outside into a furnace. See any more 8s? It never fails that, like, I think I've gotten all of the colors in, like, all of the numbers in one color, and I always miss one. And it's usually when I get close to the end. And you can see the white spots better. Move on to number 9. Oh, there was a 6 right here. I missed it. My hands are like so shaky. I'm trying to be careful and not let it bleed outside the lines, but... Oh, if you all are Lord of the Rings fans and Hobbit fans, my husband and I have been doing, like, I feel like we do this every summer because it's the only time we can because the movies are so long. But we just finished, like, we'll take like a week for The Hobbit and we'll watch like one movie per night as long as we can get the kids to bed on time. And then this week we started, like last night we watched The Fellowship of the Ring. And, like, every time I watch it I pick up on new details that just makes me love it so much more. And we're watching it with subtitles, and sometimes that illuminates things a little better because they whisper so much, especially in like the one-on-one talking scenes. They whisper and you can't hardly hear what they're saying, so sometimes it's frustrating. But sometimes I'm watching the subtitles and I'm like, oh, that's what they were saying. Well, that makes sense. Makes more sense than what I thought they said. But yeah, I loved The Hobbit, and I always like cry at the end of the series. Now, if you haven't seen it, it's been out for a while, but if you haven't seen it, I won't tell you what happens at the end, but it always makes me cry. I think that Thorin, his character arc is so well done, and I think that the actor playing Bilbo, I think it's Martin Freeman, I think that he does an excellent job of playing Bilbo with all his little quirks and mannerisms. And, you know, I've read The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, and I feel like they do a pretty good job of staying true to things. I mean, I know there's that big glaring thing with Tauriel in The Hobbit, like she's not in the books at all. They basically put her in to create this conflict between her and Keely and Legolas. But she was not in the books. If you didn't know that before, you know that now. There's a lot of funny memes, like there's one where Thranduil, who is Legolas's dad, he just comes along and Tauriel's like crying and like, why does it hurt so much? She's crying over Keely, and he's like, because it wasn't in the books, Tauriel. It cracks me up. I'm like, well, you've got a point. But yeah, I love those movies so much, and I'm a little anxious to see how the Amazon series will handle everything. I know it'll be like a completely different story, but there will be some of the same characters, like Galadriel, who's been around since basically the dawn of time. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I'm hoping it'll be like, it'll take a lot of the stories, or at least like one big plot line from the Silmarillion, which is like the book that Tolkien wrote about, you know, the creation of the world and everything. I'm hoping that they'll shed a little more light on that, or like dramatize it and make it really cool to see. I feel like that's all I have to share with you guys right now. I mean, I pretty much caught you up on everything that's been going on. So in the comments, maybe you all could share some things, like, do you like The Lord of the Rings? Have you ever watched The Lord of the Rings? What's your most recent favorite coloring book? What are you excited about over the summer or this month? What's on your wish list? What's on your coloring wish list? And don't forget that I do have a giveaway ongoing, and I'm going to close it on June 30th. I don't think I put that detail in the other video, but if you look on my channel, there's a video called like mini haul and giveaway, and that's where you'll find the details so that you can enter. But I'm giving away a set of 120 Brute Fooners, a coloring book, a happy planner, a pack of stickers, and a pencil sharpener, the Dolly 133 pencil sharpener. So if you guys want to enter that, go check out that video. It'll tell you exactly what you need to do to enter. And And thanks for hanging out with me today while I was coloring, and I hope that you all have a wonderful, colorful day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!